Hello and welcome back to our tutorial series. In our last video, we saw how we can add a close button inside our dialog box, and we have added on close button uh, for the dialog box. Also, we have written logic of on close button inside our app.dev.component.ts file. So in this file, what we are going to do is we are going to add the form, and inside the form we are going to add some text fields which will be inserted inside department table. So let us just arrange this div tag, just close it and right click and say format document. So everything is formatted now. So after this div, I'm going to add one more div, and this is the div we want to add, and inside this div we need to add our form. So to add our form, we'll add this, and let's close our form tag here. So the form tag is closed, and just rearrange them all. Format documentation. S- So to use ng form, what we have to do is we have to go to our app.module.ts file, and here we have to import the form module. So to import the form module, we'll simply import it using a form module. So here, let's say import form module, and then what we have to do is we have to just come here and we have to add that form module inside our imports. Just go down a little bit, and I'll say comma, and here we'll say form module. Okay, so forms module. Just make sure that you're writing the correct spelling. Okay, so this is what you have to do, and then if we just go back to our application and see what is the result, let's click on add department, and you see that here within our model dialog box we have a form. We have not added any field yet. However, our model is coming up into the center of the screen with a close button and with a form. So now we are going to add the form fields inside our div tag. So let's go back to our code and go back to our app.dev component.html. Here it is complaining our on submit event, which is on submit. This we have not added this yet, so we will add that in a minute. Now let's just add the text boxes we are expecting, or the input group we are expecting here. So let us do that. So inside form, we'll be adding the input group, and in this input group, we'll be defining the div. And inside this group, we'll be adding our input group prepend, and we will be adding one input box here, which will say as department name. Okay, and after that, we'll simply add the input field, which is a text type text, and it is a type of form control, and we are giving it name as department name, and ng model, because we are calling it from our ng model, and this one service dot form data. That means we have to go inside our department service, and we have to use this form data variable. So far we have not added anything like that in our service, so we have to go to our department service for that, and inside department service we got to add something which is going to be useful in our HTML file. So here just declare our form data variable. It is of type department, and if we just go back and check our app.dev component.html, so that error is gone. Here it is giving showing that warning that you are going to use the department service, which is a private member of the component. That's fine, it is okay for us. So if we just go and check our form, how does it look like? We'll get some idea if we click on that. So here we have a department name. The next thing what we want to do now is we want to add the post request for this, and we also need to add um, button. Upon button click, we are going to, show, we are going to save our department. And one more thing which we want to add here is, if the department name is invalid or something like that, so we have to add a validation. So we'll be doing that in a moment. Let's go back to our code and let's go back to our component.html file. Here we have to add that validation. So after this div here, we need to add the uh, validation. So let's just group it together properly. So format document and yeah, here we see div class thing. So just for our understanding, I kept them in a separate line. So div class text left text danger, and what we want to see is if the department name is invalid and department name is touched, then please enter the department name. That's what we are saying here. Nothing special. So if anything is invalid, it will simply show us a message. So what we are trying to say here is here we have given a validation as required and minimum length as 2. If at all if these two values doesn't get satisfied, then we are going to display the error message. Okay, let's go back to our application and click on departments, click on add department. If I just go press tab here, so we are expecting an error here. So if I press tab here, it is not showing us that validation error message. So what we have to do is we just have to go back to our code, and inside our app dep component.ts file, we got to import the ng form, which is we'll just write in a minute. So if we just add this, and then remember that we have also not written the on submit button, so we'll add that one as well. So we'll say submit on submit button, and inside submit braces we are expecting a form. So we just write to we just need to write this ng form, and then here we'll just log it in our console for now, console.log, and inside log we'll say form.value. Okay, form.value. Right. This should be it, and let us go back and see what happens here. So if you click on add button and try to do the validation, we are not getting any validation error. If you press F12 here and see that it is showing the department of undefined, department name of undefined. So basically it is not able to read our department name property, and also it is not validating the department name. Let's see how we can fix this thing. Okay, so for that we just need to go back to our code, and we have to add the listeners to our department service. So for that you just go to department service here, and here since we are calling this service and our service is going to interact with it, so here we have to add these listeners. So I'm adding here private underscore listener, this variable here, and we are calling it subject of any. That means we are listening to anything, and you just have to have this instance, and for that you just need to import this directory here from rxjs. Okay, and then what we are doing is we are writing we are writing a method which listens to that, and it will be returning the listener as observable. So whenever we are type anything, so this listener is going to listen that, and we are filtering here with the string. So when we type our department name, it is going to check for each letter, and then it is going to check for the validation. Another thing that we require to do now is we just have to go to our app dep component.ts file, and here we have to assign empty values to our form form fields. Otherwise, those form fields will be taken as undefined. So here we have to write one method called reset form, and here what we are saying that this ng form is going to get some values, and what we are doing is we are setting up the department ID as 0 and department name as empty string. And once a user enter value for this department name, then this method is going to be revoked. So we are going to revoke this method inside here, and we'll simply say reset form, and we'll say here form. Okay, this dot reset form. So this form is optional here, so that's why we have put a question mark here. So value, we are not passing any value here. So by default, what will happen? The page will load and it will assign department ID as 0 and department name as an empty string. So now if you go back and check our application, if you click on our departments and click on add department, and let's put F12 here again. So right now we don't see any error here. And let's say if I am just pressing A and pressing tab, so it is showing me the validation error now. Please enter department name. Why this is happening? Because we have done two things. One is within our department service, we have added this listen function, okay, which is listening to our input from the form. So just make a note of this. This is very important. And another thing what we have done is inside our app component, we have created one more method called reset form. And in our reset form, what we are doing is whenever we are loading our dialog box, we are loading our dialog box fields with some value. In our case, department ID as 0 and department name as empty string. And just look at here that this form is a nullable one. That means we are not expecting any value to be entered when we are opening a form dialog. However, when a user tries to enter the values, those values will be readable. In our next video, we'll be consuming post action and we'll be saving that data. So let's just go back to our app and see here. I don't have any errors here, and if I provide the proper value, then I'm not getting any error. Since if we just go back to our app.component.html, here we have said the minimum length is 2 and it is required. So here our minimum length is 2 and it is required. So we have given that value. That's why we are not getting any validation error. In our next video, we will be looking at the post action. Until then, please take care of yourself. Do visit our videos and do visit our channel. Do subscribe, do share, and hopefully we'll see you in our next video. Until then, please take care. Bye.